When they say it's not easy to start podcasting, I don't think they tell you how hard it is going to be to get your family members out the room so you can just do the things. Okay, so my name is Kayla. Sometimes it's Maressa. It's Kayla Maressa. Kayla Maressa Fernandez, if you know. And I tried to do this podcasting thing once before. I think I was very focused on how people were going to perceive of me, how they thought that I would be based on perceptions of who they think I am on other social media platforms. You know, just the normal, inauthentic presentation of yourself. And I don't know, I fell out of love with it really fast. I'm gonna try to not do that this time. Because I really want to share, like, for real, in real time, the things that I'm working on, the things that I'm finishing, the things that I'm loving that I may or may not have time to make, but I hope somebody who watches this does and can, like, I can live vicariously through you, girl. Yeah. Ooh, I can't believe I'm doing this. Again. Girl, we cannot fail this time. All right. Okay, so number one, I know y'all are probably gonna ask because everybody asks. This lovely, that's my puppy. This lovely mug is from Seattle Potter. It's incredible. It's handmade ceramics and it makes me so happy. Please know that anytime you see me with a cup of anything, it is somehow caffeinated, because I can't survive and I'm an addict. So first, let's talk about whips, right? That's how everybody else does this, right? Let's talk about what my works in progress are, right? So I have been working on, sorry, I'm one of those people that likes to, like, fly by the seat of their pants, and I will stop mid-row and just hope to God that I know what I'm doing when I come back. So I'm knitting on the Pressed Flowers shawl by Amy Christophers. Yes, I am the last human on the planet to knit the shawl. Everybody else has moved on to the cardigan, and I'm like, you know what would be a good time for? The shawl. Total honesty, I just can't find, like, the wherewithal right now, like the mental space and capacity to knit a whole garment. I am normally like a garment knitter. Like, I want the sweater, I want the cardigan all the time. Not this winter 2022. I'm done. Ready for 2023, girl. So I am knitting the Pressed Flower shawl. It is like a triangular shaped shawl. Let me see if I can actually kind of sort of show you guys. There you go. It's like a triangular shaped shawl. It's in mosaic, and so it's a super stretchy, fluffy fabric. Also, if you've never done color work before, mosaic is an incredible way to start off with color work because you don't have as much issues with carrying floats, because you're only, and floats are, let me see if I can show you guys. These itty bitty guys, I don't know if I'm focused, these itty bitty guys here that you can see kind of carried across. When you are knitting traditional stranded knitting, so you have them either in two hands, or if you have them both in one hand, however you carry your yarn, you drop it and you pick it back up. Sometimes those floats can get too tight across as you're carrying them across the back of other stitches, and it can cause your fabric to, like, pucker and, like, do this in places even after blocking, which, girl, it sucks. So mosaic knitting is really cool because you're actually only working with one color across every single row, and you just slip the stitches. So you just slide that loop from one needle over to the other needle for the color of stitch that you're not necessarily working with at the moment. I promise it sounds crazy, but it's really intuitive, and it's just like, I don't have to look at the pattern. I just kind of, once you kind of got what you're creating, it just flies. So that's what I'm knitting right now, because I need something that, number one, feels like it works up fast. Number two, feels like it's happy. That's specifically why I picked these colors. They are, I feel like they're the knitting version. Look at all this dog hair, girl. I feel like they're the knitting version of, like, dopamine dressing. I am in this space right now where normally like my color palette is very much the colors you kind of see behind me over here, kind of muted, muted vibrancy is what I call it. I know I don't make no sense, but I don't know, just lately I've been really drawn to, for real, vibrant jewel tones, neons, all of that. Something about these colors lately have been like making me smile. So for anybody out there who's also kind of like me and gets kind of down in the dumps if it is winter in the season of wherever you live, I highly suggest to infuse like some extra color that's kind of out of the box for you. Maybe it's a color that you've always wanted to make something with. Maybe it's a color that you just know makes you smile. Maybe it's a color that reminds you of somebody that makes you smile. It don't matter. I just think it's such an easy way to infuse a little happiness back into your life, especially if you struggle with it during the winter months like I do. So thank you, Amy Christophers. Just real quick. So this is making me super happy. The only other project, oh, I didn't tell you about the yarn. So this is some really cool stuff that I picked up at Rhinebeck, and I'll talk more about Rhinebeck later. I picked up this stuff from Garthenor, which they are a UK, I'm sorry, my balls are like, girl, I did it. This is how I feel about my new podcast. I picked up this yarn from Garthenor. They're really, out of everybody there at Rhinebeck this year. Is that a dog hair in my mouth too? Girl. Out of everybody there at Rhinebeck, they're really the people that I really wanted to see. They're a UK-based mill, and they kind of specialize in British breeds, and I love knitting with things that I haven't necessarily knit with before. And I touched this base, which is the Preselli base. It is a 4-ply fingering. Oh, just number one, it's non-superwash. This people, Garthenor, let me holler at you real quick. There is no reason for this non-superwash to be this soft. So whatever hoodoo voodoo you putting in here, it be working. Because I bought so much of it. So I bought these two like really fun colors. They have a bunch of more muted tones, some beautiful like natural shades. I was super drawn to those two, but I'm trying to knit with more vibrancy. I'm obsessed. I think everybody should check them out. If you're afraid to do the things with non-superwash yarn, which is sometimes can feel a little more rusticy to people, this is a great gateway in, and really reasonable pricing too for the yardage also. So, and they are based in the UK. Garthenor, I'll put it on the screen so that you know how to spell it. Because if you're anything like me, Google just be shaming me after I watch some of these podcasts. And I'm like, what she say? How she spell that? And I'm just typing in a million things incorrectly. Okay, the next thing that I'm knitting, which is also mid-row, is just a really simple hat. Let me grab this yarn. It's like all, I don't know what my problem is, but I can't do the things with the balls of yarn. They're all over the place. I'm knitting, sorry, it's on magic loop right now, this super simple ribbed hat. It doesn't look like much right now because it looks very tiny, but it's all in twisted rib. So if I can secure myself over here, it is super stretchy. And I think it's gonna be really cute. Again, vibrant colors, it just feels like happiness. And the yarn that I picked up, oh, I'm kind of making up this pattern. I watched a couple of tutorials from some Norwegian makers here on YouTube. I wish I could remember their names, but to be honest, I probably couldn't pronounce them because I'm terrible at that too. But they had a really cool construction of like making top-down hats, like almost the same way. If you look at it, it kind of looks like a sock, right? Like if you made a top-down sock. So it's a head sock. It starts from here and works its way down. I always have the problem that I get the circumference right on my hats for my head size, which is ginormous, but I don't get like the length of the hat right either. I don't know if I have like head depth or something. Like I can't just visualize it as I'm knitting it, and as many times as I try it on my head, I still do it wrong every time. So I really wanted to knit something that was from the top down, so I could kind of visualize as I'm trying it on my head, this is the point at which I would stop, as opposed to when you knit from the bottom up. So like say the ribbing of the hat is down here and this is the entryway for your head, right? When you're knitting it this way, you kind of have to like visualize all of these decreases here and visualize how much space that's gonna take. I'm not a fan and I'm not good at it. So I'm knitting this guy. I wanted it to be super soft and cozy, and this is another one of my purchases from Rhinebeck. So this super soft, like creamsicle looking guy, he's so pretty. This is, oh man, I wish I knew the colorway name. I probably could look it up for you. I'll put it on the screen if I find out. This is from the Wandering Flock. I am a super big fan of her dyeing. Just FYI, I work in the hand-dyed yarn industry, so just as one person in the industry to another, like I love the Wandering Flock, man. I think she has such a great eye for like keeping a very cool and hip and concise palette, and she does it in such a fun way, makes it super wearable for people. I love her. I'm a big fan. Anyways, so enough fangirling. This is like a super fine merino worsted that she has. Super comfy and cozy. I am super in love. I like it very, very much. This would be like a great beginner yarn for anybody who's like trying to get into the mode. You want something that has like thicker capacity so it can hold more space as you're knitting with less stitches so that you can get through a project faster. This is a great one. Also a really good yarn if you're gifting somebody something, because it's super soft. And then I destroyed this ball. This is Plume Lace. This is by Magpie Fibers, which, disclaimer, I work for them. But this is their cashmere lace base. One of our dyers, Rachel, dyed up this really, really soft coral color. And I just, oh, the light's blowing it out a little bit. There you go. It's really freaking beautiful. I love it. So this is 75% cashmere, 25% silk, and I could literally do this with it all day. It's so soft. So of course I had to add that coziness into my hat, just to give it like an extra layer of warmth. It is kind of meant to be like a substitute for mohair or alpaca if you like do that and you want to add like a layer of fluff to your stuff. I'm finding that the cashmere adds that layer of softness, but it doesn't necessarily add that layer of floof in the same capacity. That's a technical term. Here we go. Finally got untangled. I was like, let me just rattle on for a minute until I can figure this out. So I'm gonna hopefully give a, I'll just let my other dog finish barking also. So, so I don't know if you guys can kind of see here. There is like some dimension that it adds by pairing those two colors together, but also it gives like a tiny layer of fluff, but nothing extreme. I mostly can feel like the sensoriness, another technical term. Do you want me to just put technical terms list right here for you? All the ones of the, see, can't make words. This podcasting thing is gonna go great. It really adds like a sensory feeling, like an extra layer of softness to your knit, more so than I think it adds like a layer of fluff. You can see it, but it is super, super subtle. If you wanted to up it, you could always like up the layer of cashmere that you're holding. Like you could hold another strand with this, but that also increases your price point because girl, she is not cheap. So just FYI. So those are the two projects that I'm currently working on. I'm working on one more, but I put him to the side for the moment because I'm trying to figure out his math. I'm making up like a slip stitch patterning. Maybe I'll insert a picture of it over here. And it's really fun, but I'm trying to figure out the math to like find a good stopping point, and I don't want to do that anymore because I hate of the maths. So eventually I'll figure it out and you guys will see it on here if I ever decide to do this again. So let's talk about acquisitions, right? Was that what the other podcasters do? I want to talk about Rhinebeck. I'm sure everybody else has probably already talked about it before, which is cool. That's fine. I'm gonna tell you what my Rhinebeck was like. I didn't see nothing. So I mentioned before, I work for a hand-dyed yarn company, and so basically the entire weekend I was there for work, which is fine. It's a great time. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better like temporary workplace to be surrounded by yarn and people that make and are excited to be there and like be in the creative moment with everybody. It surrounded by like the beauty that is the Hudson Valley of New York is incredible. Just full stop. It's incredible. But I didn't get to do much like shopping or poking around or talking to lots of people because I was very focused on the business that weekend. As I should have been, I was on the clock. I know, just in case my boss is watching. But I did want to show the few things that I did pick up because I feel like because I had such limited time this year in particular, I really wasn't able to like spread out the love for everybody. So I was like very focused on the things that I wanted to get. So I showed you the two projects. Both of those things are things that I picked up at Rhinebeck. Actually, I had my friend Samantha go and run pick me these up, the Garthenor, because I couldn't leave my Airbnb that day. So she went and got it for me because I was like, please. I also picked up this stuff. Oh my God, it's so, no thank you. Don't get on my yarn. This stuff is freaking incredible. Okay, so I saw this. She's like a smaller dyer. She's called Mindful Folk Farms. And she had these really beautiful, oh, just all together, it made me so happy. She had these really beautiful selections of merino and angora yarn. They have the most incredible like fluff factor to them. They almost look kind of like a boucle, like a thick and thin. I just was in love with this texture. The feel of the yarn is incredible. So I grabbed many of them. I think she said that they don't have tags because like all small businesses, some is eventually going to go wrong for a show. So she wasn't able to get the tags on them in time for the show. But trust me, it didn't stop me from buying them. So it's the marketer in me that has to put them in order. So she said that they're a DK weight, but they have like 400 yards to a hank, so which is incredible. And then these are the natural colors, and then these guys are hand dyed by her. So I think I want to make that new Jessie made sweater. It's the one with all the stripedy stripes. I'll put a picture somewhere here because my stripedy stripes is not a great description for you guys. So feel free. I'm gonna copyright that name, but feel free to buy the rights of it from me. So that's my plan for these guys. What else did I get? Oh, other acquisitions. I also picked up, I am a lover of self-striping yarn. It's like one of my favorite things. I find it really hard to find time to knit socks, but I love them so much. So I picked this guy up from Woolens and Nosh. I am a huge fan of their yarn. I just think their stuff is freaking beautiful. A lot of people make a lot of people make self-striping yarn, and I think Woolens and Nosh is just one of the people that does it incredibly well. So this is a 3-ply. This one is Targhee and nylon. I am a sucker for a Targhee sock yarn. So it just has like a little more oomph, you know, a little more, you know, just a little, to hold up to my big old feet. So I'm hoping I can cast these on. I'm thinking about casting them on for Thanksgiving. So that'll be my US Thanksgiving cast on that day. Normally me and my kids, we eat good, and then after that we watch a bunch of movies. Like that's our Christmas movie kickoff, and normally all my kids, for some reason, for a Christmas movie kickoff, they all want to watch Harry Potter. So this will probably be my Harry Potter cast on. And then last but not least, I am part of, I am not part of many clubs, like many yarn clubs, but I am part of the Farmer's Daughter Fiber Indigenous Collective Club. I love that subscription. I think it's incredible that you get to discover new Indigenous artists while also like getting yarn that's inspired by them. It's just like the best of both worlds for me. This is the offering this time for the Indigenous Collective. It's on their Recollect Worsted, which, hold on, let me read the tag for you. This is their 100% black and white mountain merino, and then the colorway is called Forest Woman, which I love. I love, love, love. I think I'm going to make a Watchman cap. I know, I just talked about how I hate the decreases in hats and I can't get it right, but I think I'm going to make a Watchman cap out of this guy, because if it doesn't fit me, it'll fit my husband, and he would love this color so much. It is very much a him color. So I think that's it. I don't really have much else to show you guys because I'm not knitting on much at the moment because life is stressful. But I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I hope you subscribe. Is that a thing? Oh, I'm a real YouTuber now. And join along. I'll be sharing more and more. And if you want to see something in specific or want to know something about me in specific, you can always leave me a comment down below. This is my favorite part of social media, is not feeling like you're talking into a void, but feeling like you're interacting with real humans, because you guys are actually real humans, even though sometimes I'd be like, oh my god, I just said that in front of real humans. Yeah, so that's it. I'll see you guys next time. And until then, just a reminder that your making is art, no matter who tells you different. Bye, y'all.